To all the real ones checking in with us at the beginning of today's Steelers Talk live show, welcome in, folks. I cannot wait to break down the latest when it comes to the black and gold with you guys today. This is the best live Steelers community of fans anywhere else on planet Earth, so I'm super ready to get things going today, man. We got 4 segments on today's show to break down with you guys. First, news and rumors. We're going to be breaking down the top 30 draft visits for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their list was finally finalized. After today is actually the last day you can meet with players officially before the draft, so we'll be breaking that down. Also, an update on the Brandon Aiyuk trade rumors. Some bad news there if you're a Brandon Aiyuk fan. Then also I'll be getting into my 8th Steelers mock draft of this draft season. Just 2 more left to go here before we get going with the NFL draft. We got this week's here today, and then next week I'll be having my final mock draft. So just 2 more left, man. I got some great picks in there for you guys to enjoy. We got the mailbag coming up here. Of course, you use hashtag Steelers or Super Chat to get on the mailbag today. And then also later in today's show, our final segment, I'm going to be doing a quote-unquote win now Super Bowl plan for your Pittsburgh Steelers. So a bunch of great stuff coming your way here coming up. And with that, let's bring in our producer for today's show, Mr. Jeffrey Cooperstein. How you doing, my friend?
I am well, Mr. Spare Dog. It's a Steelers Talk Wednesday. A lot of good stuff going around, and I'm very excited, especially for this final segment of today, the Win Now plan.
That's actually shout out to Jason. I always get his last name.
Goshorn, right?
No. It's Jason Domitrovic.
Yes.
Jason Domitrovic. If you're watching this, my friend, that was the if you guys caught last week's show, the person that sent in the most super chats got to pick a segment for this week's live show. So that was Jason that ended up winning that. And he said, do a win now Super Bowl plan. I said, that is such a good idea. Can't wait to break that down. It'll be the last segment on today's show. And then also Jonathan Goshorn also won last week. I saw Jonathan down there in the comment section. So shout out to Jonathan. He gave me some ideas for our news and rumors segment today. So big shout out to Jonathan. He sent me a Steelers mock draft. I thought it was pretty interesting. So we'll be breaking it down during news and rumors today. If you want to get your voice on the show today during the mailbag, if you got a question, if you have an idea, if you have a Steelers mock draft you want to put on the show, you put it in the live chat right now with hashtag Steelers. If you don't use hashtag Steelers, Coop can't see it. Or you can super chat to guarantee your question gets on the show. Now, if we start getting a lot of super chats, the only way you're going to get your chat on the live mailbag is probably through Super Chat, all right? But if you don't have money to spend, all that stuff, it's all good. All right, all you got to do is use hashtag Steelers down there in the live chat, and you might see your question on today's live mailbag. So, Coop, I want to talk a little bit about some trade ideas here because there's been some rumblings that the Steelers are looking for a veteran wide receiver to add potentially before the 2024 NFL Draft. Courtland Sutton did not show up to voluntary workouts. They were at the Broncos. He has some chemistry with Russell Wilson, caught 10 touchdown passes from him just last year. So it doesn't make sense to maybe send a 3rd-round pick in exchange for Courtland Sutton, or if you want to go out and get an all-pro caliber guy and really go all in for the Super Bowl this year, you could potentially do something like this with the 49ers where you swap 1st-round picks this year, you give them a 3rd-round pick this year at number 98 and your 2nd rounder in 2025, and you end up getting Brandon Aiyuk, who was a 2nd-team All-Pro last year. Great route runner, great run blocker, great fit with what the Steelers are looking to do offensively. So between these 2 offers, Coop, do you want to get the lesser wide receiver but pay a lower price? Or do you want to go out and get the all-pro caliber guy, but maybe pay a bit of a higher price?
I think if I was able to get Aiyuk, I would pull the trigger, and we'll talk about this more in the news and rumors segment, but it sounds like that an Aiyuk deal would be very hard to come by. So I wouldn't hate trading your 3rd round, number 98 overall for Courtland Sutton. And like you said, he has the chemistry with Russ already. He got what, 10 TDs from him last year?
10, yeah. Double-digit touchdowns last year for Sutton, and he's a big body. He's going to be a good run blocker if you get him.
He fits Artie Smith's offense. I kind of like the Courtland Sutton idea.
Yeah, I don't hate it whatsoever. It kind of eliminates a need for you in the NFL draft so you can focus on getting center, offensive tackle, and corner with your other 3 picks there in the first 3 rounds.
And you would say those are your 3 must-gets in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, if you don't address wide receiver before the draft, wide receiver is also in that mix as well. So definitely going to be interesting here. Let me know what you guys think. Sutton or Aiyuk? What would you do here? Sutton, I think, is kind of the lower wide receiver caliber player. I think Aiyuk is more of the all-pro kind of guy. You might have to pay a little bit more to get him in the building, especially because it seems like the 49ers do not want to let him go. So right now, Sutton or Aiyuk, let me know down there in the live chat. For me personally, I would rather go with Courtland Sutton. I think it's a lower price. You don't have to pay such a big price. You can keep that second-round pick in 2025, and I think he's a good fit with established chemistry with our current quarterback, Russell Wilson. I think that would probably be the better move overall, at least in my opinion.
This is just a lot to give up.
Yeah, that's a lot, man. And listen, it's a fair deal.
It is a fair deal.
I think it's fair because Brandon is an incredible player, but it's a lot to give up, and that's fair enough, all right? So if you don't want to give up as much, I completely understand. Courtland Sutton, a really good player. He's a fit. He has chemistry with our quarterback. I think I'd probably rather go with the Sutton deal personally. So now here's our Super Chat menu for the day. Any Super Chat, you're going to get a shout-out. You're going to get on the mailbag if you have a question or whatever the case may be. $10 today is shots. Okay, so we got Patron for Coop, and I got fake tequila here because you guys know I don't drink actual alcohol, but if you've ever drank fake vodka or tequila,
tastes like ass.
It's terrible, all right? It's got all the negatives of drinking alcohol without the positives, all right? So it's even worse to make me drink. $20, you get your name on the Helmet Hall of Fame here. It's really starting to fill up with names, all right? So if you want to make sure you get your name on the helmet, $20 and you'll get it on there. And then $100 total, you'll make Steelers Talk Gold Club. It is a lifetime membership. You get a Gold Club sticker next to your Super Chats for life, and it costs $100 total for one show. All right, so here is our Gold Club members. We give a shout out to our Gold Club members every single show. So we got so many now that we're kind of done just naming each individual one. We're just going to let the graphics roll here, but I really do appreciate every single one of our Gold Club members. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to talk about Steelers every single day on this channel. So I really do appreciate all the support that you give to us, all the love and all the appreciation and all the support. It really does not go unnoticed by us here, because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we love. So we really do appreciate you. And a big shout out here to our Black Diamonds. These are the people that have put in $500 or more on a Steelers Talk live stream. So shout out to Sam Pugh, F1, Nathan Glass, Kurgan Cold, Go Blue Buckeye, Elliptic 6, Gwendolyn, Maryland, Omar's Burner, Kyle King, and KJ Live Life. These guys are the Steelers Talk legends here that have put in $500 on a single stream. They're really the lifeblood of the Steelers Talk community, and we appreciate the hell out of them. All right. And now I actually said something yesterday on the VOD that we put out where I said that anybody that gave me a follow on X at Jack_Sperry, I would give a shout out on today's edition of Steelers Talk. So I will give a shout out. Coop says we need a little bit of a minute here for these. Okay, we got them. So here are the Twitter shout outs for today. We got quite a few of them today. Shout out to Keith, Ray, Craig, Clinton, Kevin, America First Wisconsin, Kevin, Robert Young Jr., Jeff Blank, and Gold 6 Rings, Xavier Ada2D, whatever that means, 3 Begotten, Rip Wheeler, Adam Brownlee, Justin Thompson, Byron Bonsoir? I don't know, man.
You're close.
What is it?
I think that's
Bonsoir?
right.
I think that's,
That's
whatever it is.
do.
It's the best I can do, man. And we got Donnie, Nepsy, I don't know how he wants me to say that. George T. Carter, Swagnificent, Timothy Warner, Altsteins, Gregory, John Campbell, Hot Rod 2, Terry Rush, and Jerry H. Cooper. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Make sure you go follow me on Twitter/X right now at Jack_Sperry for every single day. An additional splash of Steelers content for you guys on social media.
Sperry's trying to catch me on Twitter. He's trying to usurp my following.
I'm getting closer, man.
I'm at 2,100 right now, so help Sperry catch me.
All right, man. We're trying to get to 2,000 by the end of the draft, so really do appreciate your support. Make sure you click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. Right now, we got 204 people watching around the world, 44 likes. I want to get to 50 likes before we get into our first segment. And while you guys click that thumbs up icon, let's get to our first super chat today from my man,
Yes, sir.
Damian Roy. He says, let's get this number 7 this year. Balls to the wall. You better believe it, Damian Roy.
It's not unrealistic to see the Steelers lifting the Lombardi.
Yeah, and I think
really not.
I think outside of Steelers circles, most people don't see the Steelers as a Super Bowl contender because they don't think Russell Wilson is a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. And listen, over the last 2 years, if you look at just the record of the Denver Broncos and how it kind of disastrously went there, I can see why they think that, but also he was placed in 2 offensive systems. First with Nathaniel Hackett, who had a worse offense than Matt Canada, and that's not even an understatement there. That was one of the worst offenses I've ever seen. Then you get Sean Payton, who's a complete mismatch in terms of his skill set. And despite that, he was still able to put up 26 passing touchdowns, a higher passer rating than Patrick Mahomes. He had a pretty decent season last year, and that went kind of under the radar because they had such a poor start to their season where their defense was straight up terrible for that first portion of the year, and people blamed Russ for them losing when really it was the defense. Remember, they gave up 70 points to the Miami Dolphins. That's how bad that defense was to start last year. All right, so coming up here, news and rumors for your Pittsburgh Steelers. Can't wait to get into that. We got Jonathan Goshorn's mock draft. Dane Brugler just put out a 7-round Steelers mock draft from The Athletic. Can't wait to break that down as well. Top 30 draft visits. It's really a loaded news and rumors section. Our segment coming your way here in about 2 minutes. Then I'll get into my mock draft 8.0. Can't wait to break that down for you guys. A live mailbag is coming your way later in the show as well, so make sure you get your questions in, #Steelers or Super Chat. And then we've also got a Win Now Super Bowl plan, thanks to our man Jason. I keep getting the name wrong. Jason Dimitrovich. I always have to look at it to get it right. But I appreciate you, Jason, if you're watching. I appreciate you, Jonathan, if you're watching. We got to 50 likes, so thank you guys so much for all of your support. So without further ado, Cooper, are we ready to get into our first segment today?
We are. Let me just get the intro set up.
Okay.
All
right, we're ready to go. Let's get into this news and rumors segment covering the Pittsburgh Steelers. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and today we've got a loaded show of news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers to cover today. First up, we're going to be breaking down the latest surrounding Brandon Aiyuk, where there is a report that a trade for him between the Steelers and 49ers is apparently, quote-unquote, dead at this point in time. I'll break that down here in just a little bit. Also, I'll go over the complete list of top 30 draft visits for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. Going to let you know all the players the Steelers are targeting at the top of this year's NFL draft class. And then also the Athletic's Dane Brugler put out his beast of a 7-round mock draft. Every single pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to be breaking that down at the end of today's show, so make sure you stick around. But before we get into today's news and rumors action, get us started here by clicking that thumbs up icon if you are as pumped for the NFL draft as I am and we are here at Steelers Talk. We're just over a week away. It's kind of crazy how fast draft season always goes, but at the end of the day, it's super rewarding, and I can't wait to celebrate a new class of Steelers being brought in with all of you guys over this next week or so. So now let's start with our top story today, which is that Ian Rappaport reports that the 49ers are not entertaining calls for all-pro wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk, who, of course, has shown some dissatisfaction with his contract situation this offseason. He's been linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers a number of times so far this offseason, but it looks like it probably won't be going down. Here's what Rappaport had to say about a potential Aiyuk deal. There has been no trade request. Obviously, there has been some teams though, who know that all is not well and know that he wants a contract extension. Some receiver-needy teams have inquired over the last several months to see if he could be available. To my knowledge, the 49ers have not entertained any of those talks. All right, so listen, man, if I were the 49ers, I wouldn't want to give up Brandon Aiyuk either. He is an all-pro caliber wide receiver. He was their number one receiving weapon last year for Brock Purdy, who, of course, was the leading candidate to be MVP at one point during the 2024 season. Aiyuk is an incredible route runner. He is a great run blocker. He fits their system so well. And if I'm Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, I am not wanting to trade Brandon Aiyuk either, and I want to get an extension done, which is exactly what I think is going to happen. They did this whole song and dance with George Kittle and Deebo Samuel in the past, and even Nick Bosa, and all of those guys got their deals done. The salary cap in the National Football League is definitely a fickle thing, so they're going to be working through this here. Ryan Williams, Aiyuk's agent, and the 49ers, they're going to be working closely to try and get a deal done. And at the end of the day, I think that Aiyuk wants to stay in a place like the 49ers that's ready to win now, that's ready to win Super Bowls. I mean, they were in the big game just last year. And I think Aiyuk probably wants to be in San Francisco, but he wants to get compensated like the all-pro wide receiver that he is. Now, predict it for me down there in the comments section. Will Brandon Aiyuk be on the 49ers next season? I certainly think he will be, but let me know what you guys are thinking down there in the comments section by giving me a yes or no for today's pinned comment. In just a second, we're going to be talking about our sponsor, PrizePicks here. So when I'm talking about PrizePicks, just go down there in the comments section, find that pinned comment at the top of the comment section, and give me a yes or a no. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. PrizePicks has specials for new and returning users alike for the start of the MLB season when you head on over to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today. Football season's been over for a while, folks, but the action on the diamond is just heating up. Get in on the excitement with our friends at PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your basketball or baseball knowledge into serious cash. That is, if you know ball. Here is my projections for tonight's MLB action. I'm going to take the more on Randy Arozarena's RBIs. I'm going to take the more on Jose Ramirez total bases, and I'll take the more on Mike Trout home runs. So if you know ball, you want to make some money from the comfort of your couch while you watch your favorite MLB team play tonight, all you got to do is go to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks is super easy to play, guys. All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and then watch the winnings roll in. If you know ball, you can certainly win some money with PrizePicks today when you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. You can pick more or you can pick less. It's that easy with our friends at PrizePicks. So now let's get into the confirmed, kind of finalized list of top 30 visits pre-draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because the Steelers have been bringing in a bunch of these prospects at a bunch of different positions, and we've been trying to wait here on the channel until we had a finalized list to show it, because Wednesday today is the last day that they can visit. They finalized their list today, so here is the list. And yes, before you guys say something in the chat, yes, some of these guys are not official top 30 visits. They are local visits, so just keep that in mind. So here are the offensive tackles that they've brought in. Troy Fontenot from Washington, Amarius Mims from Georgia, Talise Fuwanga from Oregon State. Probably the top 3 guys that you need to be keeping your eye on when it comes to offensive tackles in round 1. Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma is another top guy that people really like around the league as well. Blake Fisher from Notre Dame. Matt Goncalves from Pittsburgh is a local visit. Travis Glover from Georgia State, kind of a late-round guy. And then Travis Clayton, somebody that comes from the UK, got a visit with the Pittsburgh Steelers earlier this week. So when it comes to the offensive tackle position, guys, I would say expect one to be taken within the first 2 rounds. I don't know if it's going to be in the first pick or if it's going to be with the second pick, but just based on their behavior here and who they're bringing in and who they've shown interest in, it definitely seems like round 1 is kind of their plan A in terms of taking an offensive tackle, and at the very least, they're going to get something done in round 2. Then at the interior of the offensive line, we know how big center of it is a need for this football team, and they've definitely been talking with some of the top guys in this class. Jackson Powers-Johnson, Graham Barton are kind of considered the 2 top guys at the center position in this class. Zach Frazier came in on a local visit. Same thing with Hunter Norzad out of Penn State, and then Stephen Jones, a guard prospect out of Oregon. So when it comes to center, guys, I think that this is going to be a pick that happens at some point by round 3. All right, I don't know if it'll be Graham Barton at number 20. He's been rumored to the Steelers at 20 a lot recently. I don't know if it's going to be in the second round with a guy like Jackson Powers-Johnson or somebody else, Cedric Van Pran maybe, or if it's going to be like a Hunter Norzad in round 3. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know this is a major need, and the Steelers need to get this done by the end of day 2. Then we look at the wide receivers here, and lots of big names that you're looking at here, and guys that are probably going to be available on day 2 or early day 3. So Adonai Mitchell out of Texas, Coops guy, is expected to be a first-round pick. So if he falls to round 2, maybe they make a move to trade up for Mitchell, or potentially even, who knows, take him at number 20. Ricky Pearsall out of Florida. There's getting a little bit of first-round buzz now, but I think he's probably going to be a round 2 guy. Xavier Legette out of South Carolina, big body, fast mover, really good player in my opinion. Reminds me of A.J. Brown. I think he's probably going to be a round 1 guy, but I think the Steelers are hoping he falls to round 2. Malachi Corley from Western Kentucky reminds a lot of people of Deebo Samuel and Rashee Rice with his ability to run with the football in space. And then Taj Washington and Luke McCaffrey are the 2 guys, kind of smaller receivers, speed type guys that they are looking at probably on day 3 of the draft. Now, I do think that wide receiver will probably be a pick for them by day 2. So that's the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. I just think that with the glaring need at wide receiver 2 right now, you have to be able to take one of the top guys in this class. Now, is it going to be round 1? I'm really not too sure on that front, because you have George Pickens, you have a legit number 1 guy, and you have other very important needs along the offensive line. So I really think the first round pick is going to be an offensive lineman. But watch out for the Steelers to take a big time wide receiver at a value in round 2, somebody like a Roman Wilson, or I don't know if Legette makes it there, or Pearsall. Look for the Steelers to potentially look for a wide receiver 2 right there in round 2. So let's get into cornerbacks here, where they've talked with a lot of guys. 8 cornerbacks have come in for visits here. Cooper DeJean out of Iowa, and Nate Wiggins out of Clemson are the 2 first-round guys that they've brought in for visits. No Terrion Arnold, so that's definitely an interesting one there. Andrew Phillips out of Kentucky is somebody that's climbing up draft boards right now. I think he'll probably be early round 3, maybe round 2 type of guy. Max Melton out of Rutgers. Daquan Hardy out of Penn State got a local visit. Same thing with MJ Devonshire. And then Beanie Bishop from West Virginia as well. So lots of variety when it comes to the corners here. But I do think that they're probably going to try to get this done within the first 2 days of the draft. So within the first 3 rounds. But I don't think that they're necessarily tethered to that. I think that they would be okay with taking a corner probably on day 3. But personally, guys, I really hope they can get a corner by the end of day 2. I think they need somebody that can come in and play at least a rotational role right away. And I'm just not sure the quality of corner you're going to get past day 2 of the NFL draft. Then we look at the defensive interior guys, somebody to come in. Larry Ogunjobi's a free agent next offseason. Cameron Hayward, we don't know if he's going to be back. Of course, he's starting to get up there in age. So looking for an interior defensive lineman to kind of take the reins alongside Keanu Benton for the next 10 years could be on the Steelers' radar. They talked with Darius Robinson out of Mizzou. Bigger guy. He's listed as a defensive end, but he could play 5 technique in this system. Braden Fisk out of Florida State. Mason Smith out of LSU. Logan Lee out of Iowa. Christian Boyd out of UNI. And then Jaden Crumity out of Mississippi State are the 6 guys they brought in for visits. And I do think defensive tackle will probably be day 3, probably in round 4. All right, so you look at all the guys that they're looking at. A lot of them are being ranked in like the 4th round kind of area. Guys like Mason Smith and Logan Lee and all these different guys that are kind of seen as mid-level defensive tackle prospects. I would say watch out for the Steelers to take a defensive tackle in round 4. Then we get to the inside linebackers, Peyton Wilson out of NC State and Junior Colson out of Michigan. These 2 are considered potentially the top 2 inside linebackers in the class, alongside Edgerrin Cooper, of course, as well. But I really like both of these players, extremely athletic. They know their positions extremely well. Now, I don't think that the Steelers are necessarily looking for an inside linebacker early in the draft. I think if Wilson or Colson falls to them in round 3, they may consider it. But I think probably both of them will be gone by the time they pick in round 3. And I think they'll probably end up taking an inside linebacker on day 3 in rounds 4 through 7 to kind of fill out the rest of the inside linebacker room. Okay, so now let's shift from the draft targets here to a mock draft from The Athletic's Dane Brugler. If you don't know Brugler's work with The Athletic, he's one of the most comprehensive and respectable scouting personalities out there in the NFL draft space. I really recommend his stuff. Now let's get into his mock draft here. 7 rounds for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then first round, he's going to have them take Graham Barton out of Duke. Now, if you take Barton in round 1, I know that he's got versatility, and that's going to be seen in a very high regard by these NFL teams. But if you're getting him in round 1, you're getting him to play center right away, plain and simply. He's not going to be playing tackle. He's not going to be playing guard. Maybe you move him there if there's injuries, but if you draft him in round 1, he's going to be your starting center. I'll give that one a B. And then we get to round 2, and I really like this pick of Roman Wilson, Michigan wide receiver, kind of a smaller guy, but he does a lot of things real well. Reliable hands. He's a dog as a run blocker. Really tough over the middle of the field. He's got great long speed at 4.39, so he can beat you deep. So I think that this guy fits perfectly with what the Steelers want to do. And in round 2, I think it's a good value. I'll give this an A. Then in round 3, Brugler has Blake Fisher out of Notre Dame falling all the way to round 3 to the Steelers, and I'm going to give this an A+. Because I'd be okay with taking Fisher in round 2. I think that he's ready to play right away as a starting right tackle in the National Football League. So if you get these first 3 picks here, you get Barton to be your starting center, Roman Wilson to be your number 2 wide receiver, and then Blake Fisher to be your starting right tackle, move Broderick Jones back over to the left side. I think this is about as good of a 3-pick sequence as you can have if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then we get into also round 3. Braylon Trice, edge rusher, adding to the edge rusher ranks here. In round 3, pick number 98, Trice, super productive there with Washington, an incredibly violent edge rusher that's going to be coming in right away. He's not the best run defender, but that's okay because he's going to be a rotational guy to start his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, yeah, you have TJ Watt, you have Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig showed a lot of really good things last year. So is edge really a big need? I would argue no. So even though I like the player, I think he would do well here in Pittsburgh, I think there's other needs that you could be addressing, so I'll give this a C+. Then we get to round 4, and Brugler has the Steelers taking Jarvis Brownlee Jr., corner out of Louisville, and I think he's a fit. He's got long arms, super physical. He fits the mold of what Mike Tomlin wants at the position, but I think there's probably better values, and I probably would have taken a corner at pick number 98 instead of waiting all the way to 119 and kind of getting a guy in Brownlee who has some warts on his film, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to play right away, which is what I think the Steelers need. So even though I like the player, I think eventually he might work, he's not exactly what the Steelers are looking for, so I'll give it a B. Then in round 6 here, pick number 178, he has Oladipo, the safety out of Oregon State. Now, he's got kind of a weird first name, so I don't want to butcher it for you guys, but I'll give this a C because Oladipo is fine. I don't necessarily see him as an impact player in the league at any point during his career, but we know how much the Steelers like to use that 3-safety package, so Oladipo might be a pretty decent pick here. So in round 6, I'll give this a C. And then with the final pick, he has McKinley Jackson, the defensive tackle, who did not really test all that well during this process. He kind of started as like maybe a 4th-round type prospect, and he's really fallen down draft boards with the way his workouts have panned out, really not showing what you're looking for in terms of these NFL thresholds. I'm not sure if Jackson's really a Steelers guy because the Steelers are more traitsy. They want guys that test well, all these different things. So I'm not sure if this is something that will actually happen, but I think his tape is pretty good, and if you're getting a guy like that in round 6, I'll give this a B-. The overall grade that I'll give Brugler here, it's pretty darn good, especially with those first 3 picks. I think he knocked those 3 out of the park. So overall, I'd be happy with this draft haul if this actually ends up happening for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I think he might have left a little bit on the bone there in round 3 at the end, and then also in round 4. Plus, you probably could have gotten some better impact players towards the end. So I'll give it a B+. It was definitely fine, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. A, B, C, D, or F. What do you feel about this 7-round mock draft from Dane Brugler? So now a big shout out to Jonathan Goshorn here, who had the idea for today's show. He was a winner from our Steelers Talk Live show last week. He put in the most in Super Chat, so we got to pick the topics of today's show. And he wanted me to share his mock draft with you guys here on the show. So here it is. Amarius Mims in round 1. Graham Barton falling all the way to round 2. All right, so if that happens, that would be absolutely fantastic. Braden Fisk, a defensive tackle in round 3. Jermaine Burton, also in round 3, a wide receiver from Bama. Braylon Allen, a running back in round 4. All right, I can't say I've seen too many mocks for the Steelers with running backs, but that's an interesting twist there. Andrew Phillips in round 6, I think because he's climbing up draft boards right now, I really don't think Phillips is going to be there in round 6, and I really don't think Malik Washington, who is also climbing up draft boards, is going to be there. But hey, man, if they could pull this off, this would be the best draft in the history of the National Football League, in my opinion, man. I love all these players on this list, man. So grade Jonathan's mock for me down there in the comments section, A, B, C, D, or F. Love the players on this mock. Not sure if you're going to be able to get all of them, though. So if you want some more additional Steelers content, NFL draft content from me on social media every single day, you can find me at Jack_Sperry and at SpareDog.football on Instagram. Big shout out to Jonathan Goshorn again for today's show. And make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already for more Steelers news and rumors content here on YouTube, 100% free every single day. All right.
I'll tell you what.
First segment done.
If we got Jonathan Goshorn's mock, the Steelers might win 5 Super Bowls.
If you're getting Malik Washington in round 6,
I'm in.
I'm in.
Let's do it.
I don't know if it will happen. I think he's probably going to go in round 3. But, if that happens and you get Andrew Phillips, I have Andrew Phillips as my 6th-ranked corner in this entire class. If you get that guy in round 6, sign me up.
Let's go, baby.
Sign me up, Jonathan. All right. So we appreciate Jonathan Goshorn for that awesome news and rumors segment. Shout out to Jonathan for being the MVP last week. We got the mailbag coming up here in just a second, guys. All right, so hashtag Steelers or Super Chat down there in the comments section to get on the mailbag today. I love answering your questions every single week. And listen, man, the draft is coming up. So if you got questions, you want me to answer them, now's your time. Hashtag Steelers in the chat or Super Chat to get on the show. I want to give some shout outs to the people spamming down there in the chat. We got Anthony Fuller, King Yinzer in the chat. We got Marilyn Krieger, a Black Diamond in the chat. Ulysses Brown is here. Pittsburgh fan 412. Trey Smith, David Bowers, Jonathan Goshorn is here. Shout out to Jonathan for that last segment. Trey Smith, Dominic, Knights, Dominic again, Brian Ruiz, user, Victor Perez, Heavy Duty Mayo, Joe Doe. Let's go, man.
Let's go, man.
Let's go. I love it.
Need a couple more questions, so be sure to use hashtag Steelers or Super Chat. Get your question in, then we'll get started with today's mailbag.
I see Anthony Fuller just put in his hashtag Steelers.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my goodness, man. Fernando Martin is in the chat. Fernando likes to come in with last-minute $100 Super Chats.
Yes, he does.
Could we be getting another $100 Super Chat?
One of our newest Gold Club members.
That's right. Fernando is a Gold Club member. Shout out to him. Hot Rod.
I actually love Anthony Fuller's question, by the way. I can't wait to ask it.
Yeah, me too, man. I think that's a good one as well. Let's go, man. I can't wait. How many more questions do we need?
I need like 3 more questions.
Coop needs 3 more questions before we can start the mailbag, all right? So while Coop is getting those questions, and while you're getting those questions down there in the chat, type me in the chat if you've clicked that thumbs up icon. We got 300 people watching. Only 93 people have liked the show. So there's 200 of you guys out there, at least, that haven't liked the show. So let me know who the real ones are in the chat. We got Hot Rod 24. We got Eric C. Wright. We got Cassie's here. Everybody shout out Cassie in the chat. We got David Bowers. We got Pittsburgh fan 412. We got Joe L. We got Yurza1 Alpha. We got Max Prods. We got Anthony Fuller. We got Doomify. We got Eric C. Wright. Come on now. Click that thumbs up icon. And get those questions in the chat.
All right.
Uh-oh. Fernando Martin said me, and he had the emoji with the money sign eyes and the tongue.
Oh, no.
What does that mean, Fernando?
All right. We are Gucci.
All right. We're good to go, baby.
Yes, sir.
Oh! Marilyn Krieger.
Unbelievable.
Marilyn Krieger, a Black Diamond member.
Shout out, Marilyn.
Marilyn coming in hot with a $20 Super Chat. We'll get that on screen for you here in just a second, Marilyn. By the way, I love all of our Black Diamond Super Chat stickers.
Of course.
And that's one of the benefits of being a Black Diamond is you get your very own custom designed Super Chat sticker. Marilyn's is Marilyn Monroe. I think that's awesome, man.
Let's go, baby.
That's one of my favorite ones, I got to say.
Shout out to you, Marilyn.
All right. Shout out to you, Marilyn.
Cheers.
Woo! Dude, that fake tequila is just unbelievably gross.
As some would call it, cheeks.
As Micro Mike would say, cheeks. All right, man, we got the questions in here, so if we don't get any more super chats, we're going to get right into it.
Let's do it,
Now,
baby.
if we're in the mailbag here, and we're going to get into the mailbag here in about 30 seconds, and you have a question that comes up, you can still put in hashtag Steelers or super chat to get your question on the show. Now, I will say the only way you can guarantee your question gets on is if you super chat, all right? So if you put hashtag Steelers in there, don't get mad at me if your question doesn't make the show. It's up to Coop, all right? If it's up to Coop, if it's hashtag
F me
Steelers.
in the chat.
And F Coop in the chat, absolutely. Okay, let's get into the mailbag right now. Can't wait to answer your questions, so let's get into it right now. The NFL draft is just days away, and today I'm going to be answering your questions on the black and gold as we get ready for the second NFL draft with Omar Khan as the GM of this football team. Can't wait to answer your questions today. I'm sure you got a bunch of great ones. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already to join the most interactive Steelers community here on YouTube. All right, I love talking with you guys every single week on the Steelers Talk live show, which is where we film these mailbags. And if you want to get your voice on the show and you want to have your questions, your opinions, your voice on the show, all you got to do is click that subscribe button. Join us for our live shows every single Wednesday starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then get your questions on the show. It really is that easy. I love this community, man. It's the largest Steelers community, fan community here on YouTube. We've built it over the last 2 years, and I couldn't be more appreciative of all the support that you give us. So with that, I'm going to pause and open it up for questions. And we got a $5 super chat from Jonathan Goshorn, a Gold Club member here. He says, if Brock Bowers is there at 20, do the Steelers take him? No. You got Pat Freiermuth. I think they like Darnell Washington. I think they like Connor Hayward. They just got Michael Pruitt in free agency as well. So you got 4 guys that I think fit well with what this team wants to do, and you have 4 very big team needs. All right, you got corner, you got offensive tackle, you got center, and you got wide receiver. You got to address all 4 of those in the early rounds of the draft. All right, 4 picks in the first 3 rounds, 4 big needs. There's no room to take a tight end. So even if Brock Bowers is there at 20, I'm not taking him. Then we got one from $2 from Hot Rod 24. What's up, Hot Rod? Gold Club member here. It says, Coop Appreciation Super Chat. He does great. Mr. Coop, we do appreciate all of your hard work for all the Yinzers out there in Steelers Nation. All right, now let's get into Shadron. Love it. It says, what are the chances that the Steelers trade for Brandon Aiyuk this offseason? Not good. The 49ers have reportedly not entertained trade offers for Brandon, and honestly, if I'm them, I'm not doing that either. He's a perfect fit for their offense. He was an all-pro receiver for Brock Purdy. Last year, they went to the Super Bowl in large part because of him. They'd be fools to let him go, in my opinion. So if the Niners aren't going to come to the table, it takes 2 to tango when it comes to a trade, and you don't have a dance partner if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers here. So even though I love Brandon Aiyuk, I think that he'd be a great fit here. He's also a great fit in San Francisco, and I don't think they're going to let him go. But let me know down there in the comments section, what is the percent chance that the Steelers trade for Brandon Aiyuk? Scale of 0 to 100. So 0 meaning no chance, 100 meaning they're definitely going to get him. It's going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so whenever YouTube throws you an ad break during this mailbag, just go down there in the comments section, find that pinned comment. It's right at the top of the comment section for you, and put it on a scale of 0 to 100 for me. Then we got one from Clack, a first-time super chatter, $5. Let's go, Clack. And he says, I think we should reunite Mitchell with GP, but I heard some stuff about his character issues might just be a lie. How would you feel about AD Mitchell? So it's interesting because I love Adonai Mitchell, man. I think he's a great player. Reminds me a lot of CeeDee Lamb when he was coming out of Oklahoma. Great player. Coop and I are big fans. All right, but you got some pretty big needs on this team, man. And I get that wide receiver's one of them. But I really think that with this team, you're going to be really prioritizing the run game next year. That's what Arthur Smith does. And you can't have a successful run game if your offensive line isn't completely plugged up, all right, with really good players. So I think that it's probably a bigger need for this team to get an offensive lineman, whether that be a center, whether that be an offensive tackle. And as much as I like Adonai Mitchell, this is a loaded wide receiver class, and you can get a really good wide receiver 2 option in round 2 of this draft class this year. So as much as I love AD Mitchell, I'd love to see him in black and gold. I think it's smarter to take an offensive lineman in round 1. And now, before we get into the rest of this week's questions, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Mando Whole Body Deodorant. Use code CHAT today at shopmando.com for $5 off their starter pack today when you go to shopmando.com. Ditch the soap and step up to the plate with Mando Whole Body Deodorant today. It's developed by a doctor, and this game-changing formula is safe for your entire body and knocks out odor like a champ. Mando is made with mandelic acid, which picks off odor at the source, keeping you fresh for up to 72 hours. Mando is available in solid sticks, invisible cream, body wash, cleaning bars, and deodorant wipes for on-the-go use. Don't let foul balls ruin your game. Switch to Mando and keep your body odor in fair territory by taking advantage of their special offer for new customers of $5 off their best-selling starter pack when you use code CHAT at shopmando.com. Guys, I've been using Mando products for about the last couple of months here, ever since we started partnering with them here at Chat Sports, and I'm a big fan of their bourbon leather body wash that I love using every single day in the shower. Cassie loves it as well. You can ask her yourself, all right? Also, they got a bunch of different products in there that they love, like deodorant wipes, all these different things that come included with their starter pack, which is perfect for new customers, by the way. It comes with a solid stick of deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, that I mentioned before. I really recommend the body wash, by the way, and free shipping is included. Luckily, I have a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code CHAT at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. A big thank you to Mando Whole Body Deodorant for sponsoring today's edition of Steelers Talk. Then we got one from King Yinzer himself, Anthony Fuller, in the chat. Says, should we try to trade for Davante Adams? You could try all you want, Anthony. It's not going to happen. The Raiders have said a number of times this offseason they're not trading Davante Adams. Now, I know some other Steelers content creators on here that will go unnamed have been saying some stuff about Davante Adams. Davante Adams, go get him. It's not going to happen, all right? The Raiders love him. They're going to be drafting a quarterback this year, and there's just no way that I see them unloading somebody that I consider to be a top 5 wide receiver in the game today. He just runs such crisp routes. He's really good at the catch point. I'd love him to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I just don't see them coming to the table, if you will, on a potential trade. So it's kind of like the Brandon Aiyuk stuff. It's like, would I love to have him? Absolutely. Would I be willing to pay a high price to get him here in Pittsburgh? Yes. But will the other team come to the table? That's the part that I think where it kind of crumbles down. Then we got one from Rob Lightfoot here. What's up, Rob? Says, do you think we could move up to 9 or 14? It's possible. I think it was Mark Caboli, the Pittsburgh Steelers reporter for The Athletic, said today the most likely scenario from his end is that the Steelers are going to trade up in round 1 for a tackle. Now, like I said, guys, you got 4 major team needs, and then you have 4 picks in the first 3 rounds. That's where you can kind of expect to get starting capable players. I'm just not sure if they have the draft capital to move up. But listen, man, they did move up a little bit last year. They gave up a 4th-round pick, I believe, a 3rd or 4th-round pick to be able to move up a couple spots for Broderick. If that's something that could be done again this year, maybe 16 with the Seattle Seahawks, I don't know. You can move up a couple spots. Take a Troy Fano, take an Alou Fashanu, take a Marius Mims, whoever you love at that spot. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what Omar Khan likes to do. We know how aggressive the Khan artist likes to be. Then we got a Gold Club member here, $20 super chat from Pittsburgh fan 412, who says, follow up on the Bowers question. Couldn't we just play him at wide receiver 2 instead of tight end? Take your shot. I mean, yes. Probably could, but here's the thing. It's kind of like the Adonai Mitchell thing. It's like, I love Adonai Mitchell, all right, but you probably got to use the number 20 pick to get him, and let's just face it, the pass game isn't going to be the priority for this offense next year. It's going to be the run game with Najee and Jalen, and then it's the play-action passing game off of the run game, and all of that crumbles to the floor if you don't have a good offensive line setting the foundation for the run game. So you got 2 spots on your offensive line you got to fill this draft. I think if you take a tight end or a wide receiver, you're kind of going against everything that you're trying to do heading into next year. Then we got, so let me know. Shout out your guy down there in the comment section. What sleeper pick in this year's NFL draft class do you want the Pittsburgh Steelers to target this year? I'm a big fan of Garrett Greenfield. I'm a big fan of Jalen Coker from Holy Cross. It's a bunch of guys that I think are going to be really good values on day 3 of the draft. Christian Boyd, defensive tackle out of UNI, really good player as well. Let me know your sleeper picks down there in the comment section. Let me go on from Sheldon Bennett. Shout out to Sheldon here. Says, what do you think of Amarius Mims and Cedric Van Pran to go with Jones to reunite them for our offensive line? I love this idea. I think Cedric Van Pran moves really well for his position, or for his size, I should say. Guys that big usually don't move the way that he does, all right? Super fast off the ball, really physical player as well. But the play strength, actually. He's a big guy, but the play strength leaves a little bit to be desired, in my opinion. That's why I have Cedric Van Pran as a 3rd-round center prospect. But if they use the 2nd-round pick on him, I actually wouldn't mind it. I like him a lot. And then Amarius Mims, I think, is ready to be a starting right tackle in the league right away. I know people are worried that he hasn't played a lot of college football, but the time that he did play, he was fantastic on film. I think he's ready to play in the National Football League right away. And if you bring these Georgia Bulldogs back together, I think it's going to be a dominant offensive line for the future. Now make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. If you're pumped up for the NFL draft, really do appreciate all of your guys' support out there. We're super excited to break it all down with you guys. Last year it was so much fun, as the con artist absolutely had one of the best Steelers draft classes in the history of this team, at least in my opinion. They got some really high-end players. Hopefully they can do the same this year. So make sure you click that subscribe button, click that thumbs up icon if you're excited. Let me on from Dominic here. It says, do you think Najee will get an extension, and do you think Fields will get an extension? If we're talking about this offseason, no, neither one. Fields won't get an extension because they don't know what they have in Russell Wilson yet. Because it's like, if you sign Justin Fields to an extension, and by the way, why would Fields do that, right? Why would Fields be incentivized to get an extension? If Russell Wilson balls out and they win 13 games this year and they win a playoff game, at least one, you're going to be giving Russell Wilson a big contract, all right? So why would Justin Fields lock himself in for the next 3-4 years to be Russell Wilson's backup, right? That just doesn't make sense on his end. It makes more sense for him to be on a 1-year deal, and if Russ doesn't play well, then Fields will get his opportunity. But if Russ plays well, then Justin has the freedom to hit the free agency market next year and test the market. As far as Najee goes, there's a report saying the Steelers don't have long-term plans for him. I don't know if I believe those or not, but I don't think he's going to get an extension. They will pick up his 5th-year option, though. You can take that to the bank. Then they got Ethan Bullard here. Says, how long do you think Russell Wilson will hold off Fields this year? I think he's going to hold him off the entire season. All right, so if you're a Justin Fields guy out there, and I understand why you would be, I just wouldn't get my expectations up too high about him playing this year. And honestly, if Russell Wilson plays really well and this team wins 12, 13 games and they win a playoff game, like, they're going to be giving him another contract. They're not going to move off of a guy that just got him that far in the playoffs for a guy that, didn't play the entire season, is an unproven entity, and for, replace the guy that got you 13 wins in a playoff win over. It just doesn't make sense, right? So I think Russell Wilson's going to be a great fit in this Arthur Smith offense. It's not going to ask him to do too much. It's going to ask him to throw deep balls off of play action and make plays late in the game in the clutch. And those are two things he does exceptionally well still at age 35, and I'm super excited to see him play this next year. So let me know down there in the comments section, what say you? Will Russell Wilson be the quarterback 1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the entire season? Let me know, yes or no. All right, and just keep in mind, if you're saying no here, that means that the team is struggling with Russell Wilson, and the team is probably not going to win a Super Bowl in 2024. So let me know down there in the comments section. Will Russell Wilson be the QB1 for the entire season? Yes or no? Let me know what you're thinking. That'll be it for this week's mailbag. I appreciate everybody that tuned in to the Steelers Talk live show this week and submitted questions. If you want to get a question on next week's live show, make sure you click that subscribe button and join us Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single week. Okay. Mailbag in the books coming up here. My Steelers mock draft, my 8th one of the draft season, Coop. I mean, we're gonna get close to 10 here.
We'll get close.
It's gonna end up being 9 mock drafts for the Steelers this year.
And you put a little bit of a twist on this one.
So, how do you say his name? Jason Dimitrovich. Jason Dimitrovich actually came up with the idea of a win now Steelers Super Bowl plan. So I said, you know what? This week I'm going to do a win now version of my mock draft. So all the players that I'm taking today, I think, can be day one impacts for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I can't wait to share with you guys here. So shout out to Sheldon, shout out to Eric, shout out to Brian, shout out to Rochelle King, shout out to Jeff, shout out to HotRod24, Trey Roberson, shout out to David Bauer, shout out to Kevin Reed, shout out to Dominic, shout out to Nell, shout out to User, all these people in the chat, man. We got a bunch of great Steelers fans in the chat right now, just chopping it up. Can we show the Super Chat menu one time here before we get into this mock?
Yep.
All right, so let's get into the Super Chat menu here for all the people that are just joining us here on Steelers Talk. We still got 2 more segments to go, so don't go anywhere. Any Super Chat, you're going to get a shout-out here on the show. $10, we'll take shots for you guys. $20, you get your name on the helmet. By the way, we got a couple people that sent in 20s, right? I think Marilyn Krieger,
Yes, we did.
Marilyn's already got her name on the helmet. So it's Pittsburgh Fan 412, correct?
Yep.
Pittsburgh Fan 412. All right, $20 Super Chats. Get your name on the helmet. Pittsburgh Fan 412 just got his name on the helmet just now. $100 Super Chat gets you into the Steelers Talk Gold Club for life. All right, so if you want a Super Chat sticker for life, you want a shout out on every single Steelers Talk live show, $100 total today. We'll end up making it happen for you. All right, my latest Steelers mock draft, my 8.0 version. Man, time flies, dude. Can't wait to get it going. K9 Ty says, shout out to me for holding it down. Fan since 07. Kai Ty.
Shout out.
K9 Ty, I salute you, my friend. Good stuff there. All right. Hydrate or dihydrate here, Mr. Coop. Let's get into this mock draft right now. Still 2 more segments left to go. So let's get into this one right now. My latest mock draft for your Pittsburgh Steelers. We are a week away from the start of the 2024 NFL Draft, and today I put out my second to last mock draft before we get going in Detroit next week. 7 rounds, no trades. Can't wait to break it down with you guys here in the next couple of seconds or so. But before we get into that, make sure you click that subscribe button right at the top of today's show for next week's draft coverage. Extensive Steelers draft coverage all throughout the week. The latest Steelers rumors, letting you know who the Steelers are targeting at the top of the draft. Plus, we're going to have live coverage for every single pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers 2024 NFL Draft. We're going to have a bunch of stuff for you guys, so make sure you click that subscribe button right now if you haven't already. Now, let's get into my mock here, starting with pick number 20. And the guy that I would like the Pittsburgh Steelers to take, and I hope falls to us at number 20, is Troy Fontenot out of Washington. Now, Daniel Jeremiah actually said that there's a team out there that thinks Fontenot is the best center prospect in this year's NFL draft class, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, in my opinion, if you're drafting Fontenot, you're probably getting him to be a tackle, all right, probably a left tackle. Now, he has the ability and the athleticism and the smarts to play center at a really high level in this Arthur Smith offense, which is going to ask him to do a lot of outside zone stuff. And I think he'd be a great fit there if that's what they wanted to do with him. But Fontenot is one of the best pass-protecting left tackles in this class. Really good as a run defender, or run blocker, I should say, from the left side. I think he's awesome. I'd love for him to be the Pittsburgh Steelers left tackle moving forward and keep Broderick Jones on the right side. So who's your guy? Let me know down there in the comments section. What prospect do you hope the Pittsburgh Steelers take in round 1? I'm not sure if Fontenot's going to be there for the Steelers at 20. But I damn sure hope he is. And if he is, I'd be sprinkling that card up to the podium if I were GM Omar Khan. Who is that guy for you? Let me know for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Then in round 2, we'll take Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver out of Florida. And I love this wide receiver prospect, man. He's got it all. He's a dog as a run blocker, all right? Arthur Smith is going to love that. He's got inside and outside versatility. He's He's got great hands. I mean, look at this catch, man. He's jumping up in the air, hands catch fully extended. All right, this guy can catch the football. Probably has the best college football catch I've ever seen in my entire life on his film. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go check out a Ricky Pearsall highlight tape. It's probably going to be the first one on there. But, man, he's an awesome player, great route runner. He's a little bit older, but you're bringing him in to be an immediate wide receiver 2 option, so that doesn't really bother me all that much. Very experienced, very crisp, very, very good player here in Ricky Pearsall, and I'd love for him to be wearing black and gold next year. So coming up here, rounds 3 through 7 of my latest Steelers mock draft here. Some very interesting picks coming up here in about 30 seconds or so. But before we get into that, and before we get into rounds 3 through 7 today, I want to have a word from our sponsor here at PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. And PrizePicks has specials for new and returning users alike right now for the start of the MLB season when you head on over to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today. Football season has been over for a while, folks, but the action on the diamond is just heating up. And get in on the excitement right now with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your baseball knowledge into serious cash. That is, if you know ball. The 2024 MLB season is now off and running, and you can pick more or less right now to make some money from the comfort of your couch while you watch your favorite team play. PrizePicks is super simple. All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and then watch the winnings roll in. Get started right now if you haven't already at prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match of $100. You can pick more or you can pick less. It's that easy with our friends at PrizePicks. A big shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's edition of Steelers Talk. Then we get into round 3 here, where I'm going to take cornerback out of Kentucky, Andrew Phillips. All right, and I love Phillips' game. I have him ranked as my number 6 corner in this entire draft class because I love the tenacity he plays in his game. He doesn't have necessarily the best long speed or even the best arm length or anything in terms from a physical standpoint. All right, he's a little bit undersized, but when you watch him play football, inside-outside versatility, great instincts to read the eyes of the quarterback, super physical. I think he fits exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking for, somebody that can come in and be a number 2 corner right away in this defense, in my opinion. Whether you want to play him in the slot, I think he'd probably play in the slot right away, and I think he'd eventually graduate to being your number 2 cornerback option on the outside. I think he's got Pittsburgh Steeler written all over him, and I think he'd be an excellent number 2 receiver to Joey Porter Jr. in this defense for the next decade. Then we get into this is not Renardo Green, we just took Andrew Phillips here, Mr. Coop. So we need to get to number 98 in the NFL draft this year, where we are going to take Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State, interior offensive lineman. And listen, you might be saying to yourselves right now, Jack, Cooper Beebe's a guard. We need a center. And that's true. But guess what, man? Guess where James Daniels played his college ball and he was considered the best center in the draft of his draft year? I think that you take the best available interior offensive lineman at the best possible value. And right now I have Cooper Beebe ranked as a top 5 interior offensive lineman in the class. He's got great athleticism for this outside zone running scheme. He's got great power. I mean, just look at those freaking arms. I mean, it's like tree trunks. I mean, it's unbelievable that Cooper Beebe is able to do. Plays with great awareness. And James Daniels has the skill set to move back over to center. I think that this would make the best possible offensive line for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Fontenot at left tackle, Sayamalo at left guard. Then you get Daniels at center, Beebe at right guard, and then you finish up with Broderick Jones at right tackle. Then we get to pick number 119 here. I'm going to take an edge rusher, Mohamed Kamara. Listen, guys, I love Nick Herbig. I think he's a great rotational edge rusher, and that's what he's going to be his entire career. But if Alex Highsmith or TJ Watt gets hurt, right now the Steelers don't have anybody that can play 3 downs. Nick Herbig is tiny for an edge rusher. He's going to get his ass bullied in the run game if he's going to be asked to start. But Mohamed Kamara is a big body. He's somebody that eventually is going to be able to come in, and if Highsmith or Watt gets hurt, can survive 3 downs in the National Football League, and Herbig can stay in that really good rotational role that he currently possesses. Kamaro's got big arms. He's got a bulldozer-type mentality. I think he needs a little bit more refinement, but I trust the Steelers to get that out of him. And I think he has the potential to be like a Shaq Barrett-type player in the National Football League moving forward. Then we get into round 6 here. I'm going to take Christian Boyd, the defensive tackle out of UNI. I saw this guy play live at the Shrine Bowl in Frisco, Texas a couple months back, and he absolutely dominated. And before you say he went to UNI, he didn't play anybody. He was dominating some of the best offensive linemen in the country at the Shrine Bowl. I mean, this guy was straight up dominant. I think he's a perfect eventual replacement for Cam Hayward at the 3 technique. Keanu Benton and Christian Boyd could be the twin towers there in the middle of the Steelers defense for the next decade. Then we get Jalen Ford here, Texas inside linebacker, undersized but good in coverage, all right? That's what he's going to do in the next level. We don't know the status of Cole Holcomb, whether or not he's going to be able to really be a long-term option or even a short-term option, if we're being frank, for this football team. You do have Patrick Queen. You do have a Landon Roberts. Those guys are your locked-in number 1 and number 2 inside linebackers. But if you need somebody to come in and be a good rotational piece that's really good in zone coverage, plays with good instincts, can trust him on the NFL football field, I don't with Mark Robinson right now. I would with Jalen Ford. So here's my mock draft haul here. You got Troy Fondo in round 1, could play tackle or center, so that gives you some versatility. Could play guard as well. Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver out of Florida, I think is a perfect fit for what Arthur Smith is looking for in a number 2 receiver. Would be a great value at number 51. Andrew Phillips, a great number 2 cornerback option for the future, getting him in round 3. Cooper Beebe, interior offensive lineman from Kansas State. Muhammad Kamara, edge rusher out of Colorado State. Really good stuff from him on tape, in my opinion. That's a steal in round 4. Christian Boyd out of Northern Iowa. I think he's a steal in round 6. And then Jalen Ford out of Texas would be a fantastic rotational piece as a pass defensive specialist. So grade this mock draft for me down there in the comments section. My second to last mock draft before we get things going in Detroit next week. Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F. I think this is relatively realistic, and I think that this is something that I would be very happy with if I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Coop says it's an A, so therefore it's an A, folks, okay? So now, make sure you guys give me a follow on Twitter, X, Instagram, whatever you guys want to call it, on social media. I give you guys an additional splash of Steelers and NFL draft content every single day on both of these social media accounts. So if you want more from me, I'm at Jack_Sperry on X and at sparedog.football on Instagram. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Really do appreciate all of your support. And until next time, here we go, Steelers. All right, Mr. Coop, 3 down.
F. Coop. I don't know why I had Bernardo Green in there.
F. Coop.
I like Bernardo Green, the player, though.
I like Bernardo Green, too. But, man, if you can get Andrew Phillips in round 3, that is a great value.
Now, let me ask you this. You draft Cooper Beebe. Where are you playing him?
Guard.
Which guard, though?
Right guard.
You're playing him right guard?
Yeah, absolutely. I think James it's my philosophy. Because you have James Daniels, who I believe can be a really good center in this league if called upon to do that, you have the ability to just take the best interior offensive lineman on the board. Why do we have to feel boxed in and take a center? That doesn't make sense to me. Coop is going to be signing off here, guys. So everybody wave goodbye to Coop.
Bye, guys.
We're going to be joined by our friend Sam Brown here. And by the way, Coop is going over to the Knicks Now watch party for their, is it first game of the playoffs or last game of regular season?
It's the play-in, so we're just trying to figure out.
Oh, you're trying to figure out who you're playing. All right, so Knicks Now, you can catch Coop over there. But we're going to be having Sam Brown, our new producer, for our final segment today. So everybody say goodbye to Mr. Coop. Or you could say F Coop for abandoning us here. I mean, either one. Shout out to Sam for stepping in here for our final segment, though. Anthony Fuller and David Bowers is saying, where are you going, Coop?
Sorry, I gotta go.
Come on, man. All right, say goodbye to the people here. All right, man. Everybody wave goodbye to Coop. He's abandoning us.
Na na na
Na, 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 na. Hey, F Coop. All right, Sam, if you want to get on camera here whenever is your first ability to, so you can say hi to the Yinzers. We got a good crew here, over 250 people. We still got one more segment to go, folks. You don't want to go anywhere. 155 likes today, so let's say hello to Sam Brown. Sam, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, it's a fun day. It's a busy day. Glad I get to end it here. Count down the days. 9 days now. Or no, 8 days.
Yeah,
8 days till draft night.
Yep.
It's going to go by quick.
By the way, Sam Brown, big Denver Broncos fan. So can we talk a little bit about Russell Wilson here and like your feelings on Russell Wilson going to the Pittsburgh Steelers, like the 80 whatever million dead cap in Denver? Just give me your assessment of the situation.
I'm starting to call it the Bronco curse because I think if you look at some of the recent quarterbacks, Joe Flacco, former Broncos quarterback, revived his career. Drew Lock managed to get himself a halfway decent contract and a playing opportunity in Seattle last year. This is gonna be perfect for y'all and really miserable for me to have to sit through inevitable success for Russell Wilson with the Steelers.
I always tell Sam here at the offices, you're gonna have Bo Nix and you're going to like it.
Not at 12. If it's at 12, I boycott. If it's at 12, I might be a Steelers fan. I might just.
I mean, there's plenty of room on the bus here, man. Plenty of room on the bus here, Mr. Sam Brown. So we appreciate you for stepping in here for Coop, who had to go produce the Knicks Now watch party for the play-in game tonight. So we still got one more to go, and we're going to be doing my Super Bowl plan for the Pittsburgh Steelers here. Jason Dimitrovich, I hope I'm saying that right. Domitrovich. I always have to look at it, producer Sam, because it's just. I don't know why. It's just me. All right. So Jason, if you're watching, my friend, this is because of you. We got an awesome idea from our friend Dimitrovich here to do a Super Bowl plan for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we're obliging that today.
I say it's the heat of the moment. Sometimes you say the name right there, right now, and sometimes it slips up. You're never perfect.
I appreciate your support, Sam. I really do, my friend. All right, let's get into it. Oh, by the way, can you talk a little bit about? So my trade proposal for Cortland Sutton is number 98 overall, third round pick. What are your thoughts on that trade proposal?
Not the worst thing. I mean, it's a mixture of factors. A, he's starting to wind up a little bit more in age. B, as impactful as he's been, as great of a Bronco as he's been, as involved as he's been in the community, he's not a wide receiver one. And that's what he's going to be right here, right now in Denver. It's a tough situation for the Broncos. They're in a spot where they need more picks, they need more youth, and they need to start building this team the way Sean Payton wants to build it. Cortland Sutton, not part of the quote-unquote Payton regime, the Sean Payton regime.
Yeah.
And even George Payton inherited him.
They almost traded him to the Ravens last year.
I don't hate it.
I mean, good luck getting a third-round pick anywhere else.
This is just such a weird offseason. Like Justin Simmons is gone too. Jerry
Could
Jeudy
be a Steeler.
Gone. The new quarterback under center. Rise of now, it's Jarrett Stidham, which makes me want to vomit. To give up another, what was seen as a foundational piece of the team going into last year and came off a great season in terms of production. It's tough to give up, but it's a matter of what do you care about more, the short term or the long term?
Sure, absolutely. All right, man. Big shout out to producer Sam. Everybody,
thank you for just tapping into my pain there for like 5 minutes.
Everybody spam Sam in the chat. He's helping us out today, man, even though he's a miserable Broncos fan. And we'll take your quarterback every day of the week, especially if you're paying the bill. All right, Mr. Brown. So
hey, apparently he didn't need those sunglasses indoors in Denver.
No, he did
weather
not.
Must have been worse. Out in Pittsburgh, it's nice and sunny. Even when he's indoors, he's got to wear shades. Bring everything down a notch.
He loves those new shades. I wish we had a picture of him. If you haven't seen him yet, Russell Wilson has like these big goggle sunglasses now. And I kind of like the look. It's like, I mean, but if you don't like Russell Wilson and you think he's a douchebag, you're going to think he's even more of a douchebag for wearing those.
I'm willing to bet he doesn't necessarily even like him so much as he's just getting the plugs. He's just getting the advertising money by just wearing them in every picture he gets.
I'm sure he is, man. He's always wearing Steelers gear, which I freaking love. All right. Without further ado, I've talked enough here. Let's get into this Win Now Super Bowl plan for you guys. Coming at you right now. What is it going to take for the Pittsburgh Steelers to win the Super Bowl? Not 5 years in advance, not 8 years in advance, not even just 3 years in advance. This year, what is it going to take for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get that done? Well, today, I've got my plan to get that job done for the fans of Steelers Nation and to bring a 7th Lombardi Trophy to the City of Champions, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, before we get into the Super Bowl plan, this video idea was brought to us by Jason Dimitrovich. He was our Super Chat MVP on Steelers Talk Live last week, and the winner of that competition would be able to pick a segment that we do here on the channel. So Jason won, and he said, you know what? Do a plan to get the Steelers their 2nd or their 7th Lombardi Trophy. So I said, let's do it. All right, make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now if you haven't already to join our family. All right, it's over 50,000 Yinzers strong. It is the largest Steelers YouTube community here on the platform. We have weekly live shows. We got weekly mock drafts. We're going to have extensive draft coverage all throughout next week. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Now, before we get into this here, major team needs. These are the 4 big ones for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, yeah, you could add a safety and you could add an inside linebacker, interior defensive lineman, all these different things, but you need to get a center, you need to get a wide receiver, you need to get a corner, and you need to get an offensive tackle at some point during this NFL offseason still, okay? So there's 2 avenues to get that done, through the draft and then also through free agency. So yesterday, I put out a win now mock draft for this particular instance, and this is what we ended up getting, all right? Troy Fondo in round 1 out of Washington, Ricky Pearsall to be the number 2 wide receiver, Andrew Phillips to be a corner of the future here in Pittsburgh, Cooper Beebe, an interior offensive lineman out of Kansas State, Muhammad Kamara from Colorado State to be another rotational edge rusher, Christian Boyd to eventually potentially take over for Cameron Hayward at the 3 technique, Jalen Ford, really good coverage linebacker that's going to be a rotational piece right away. So that is my mock draft, all right? And if you want to see me break this down in detail, I'm going to put the link in the comments and description. We put out a video out earlier today breaking down this mock draft in detail, okay? So I'm going to put the link in the comments and description of today's show. I'll also pin it to the video itself. It'll be right in the top right of today's show right about now. So just click that if you want to see my breakdown of that mock draft. So now, you go to that video and you check out that mock draft. That's great. After that, and after we make those picks, what do we do about free agency? And is there any other big-name free agents that the Steelers can add to try and help them win a Super Bowl in 2024? Now, currently, according to Over the Cap, the Steelers have just over $11 million in available cap space for 2024, and you're going to be spending a good chunk of that on the players that you draft in the draft this year, okay? So you don't have a whole lot of room when it comes to free agents at this point in the process. But you do have an opportunity to potentially restructure some players and get some more space here. I think the 2 guys that you can consider restructuring are Alex Highsmith and Minkah Fitzpatrick. They both have multiple years left on their deal, lots of cushion to convert some of their base salary into a signing bonus and help get this team some more cap space for the 2024 season and add some big-name players. So now that we've added some cap space here, let's go out and get a couple of players that are going to help this team win a Super Bowl. And let's start with Stephon Gilmore, the cornerback formerly with the Dallas Cowboys. Perfect fit for what the Steelers want in their cornerback outside of Joey Porter Jr. All right, they're in Dallas. They played a lot of press man coverage over the last 2 seasons, and he's been unbelievable doing just that. That's what the Steelers like to do. And yes, Stephon Gilmore is getting up there in age, but I think that he's still a really, really good player, and I think he'd be a really good mentor to guys like Joey Porter Jr. In my mock draft, I bring in Andrew Phillips to play the slot in year 1. You got guys like Dante Jackson here as well, and then also Corey Trice Jr. and Darius Rush could learn a lot from a hardy veteran like Stephon Gilmore. As long as you don't pay him too much, I think he'd be an excellent fit here with the black and gold. Then another player that I would love to see the Pittsburgh Steelers sign for the right price is Justin Simmons on a 1-year deal, and you cut DeMonte KZ. That saves you $3 million in cap space, and that will give you a little bit more cushion to get Justin Simmons on your roster. Because I look at what the secondary could look like with Stephon Gilmore and Justin Simmons added to it. You got Joey Porter Jr., Gilmore, Phillips in the slot. Then you got 3 really good safeties in Simmons, Fitzpatrick, and Deshaun Elliott. And you could do a lot of interesting disguises. You could do a lot of creative things defensively. And we already know how dominant the Steelers' defense already is with the personnel they have on the roster right now. But just imagine, man, you're adding Patrick Queen already to this defense. You are getting a fully healthy TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith back next year. And if you get that secondary to be that dynamic and you're able to move Minka around as much as you'd be able to with these two signings, I think it'd be an absolute home run if you can add both Stephon Gilmore and Justin Simmons to this defense. Just 1-year contracts, though. I don't want that money leaking into future years. Now, coming up here, the biggest X factor for 2024 for the Steelers to win a Super Bowl. This thing must happen if the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be hoisting a Lombardi trophy, their 7th in franchise history, in New Orleans next year. But before we get into that, no matter what the Steelers do during the 2024 NFL Draft and no matter who they pick, they're going to be wearing this hat right here. This is the official 2024 Pittsburgh Steelers draft hat. So if you think this is going to be a historic draft class for the Pittsburgh Steelers, just like it was last year, go ahead and get yourself that draft hat right now by go chatsports.com/DH24. Really do appreciate everybody that clicks that link because it lets Fanatics know that we sent you. Again, that's chatsports.com/DH24. Really love the design of the hat this year. So if you want to represent the Steel City here and you want a piece of Steelers history in your closet today, you can go chatsports.com/DH24 and put the link to that in the comments and description so you can let Fanatics know that we sent you. So the biggest X factor, and listen, you can make all the moves that you want in the draft, in free agency, whatever. I trust Omar Khan to get that stuff right. But the one thing that must happen if the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win a Super Bowl next year is Russell Wilson needs to show the F up. All right, plain and simply. He has to be an above average NFL starting quarterback, top 15 in the league, and he has to deliver in the clutch. And not only in the clutch in the regular season, but in the clutch in the postseason. Because you know, when you go up against teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, like the Houston Texans, like the Baltimore Ravens, like all these really good teams in the AFC now, there's going to be close games, all right? If you have a really good team and you go up against another really good team, chances are it's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to the quarterback play in the fourth quarter. Russell Wilson has proven throughout his career he's one of the most clutch quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League. And listen, you don't have to ask Russell to be Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers or to be a world-beating quarterback. There's already in place a lot of good stuff here in Pittsburgh. You got a really good head coach in Mike Tomlin who has kept this team afloat despite some really bad quarterback and offensive play over these last several years. Russell Wilson turns that around. I have full faith that Mike Tomlin can get this team back to a Super Bowl and another Super Bowl championship. Also a great defense that's constantly in the top 5 in most defensive categories. Russ is going to be supported on the defensive side of the ball. Plus a sound run game. Arthur Smith is somebody that loves to run the football, and he's got 2 really good running backs in Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren to give it to, so Russell Wilson isn't going to be asked to throw it 50 times a game. And then there's good weapons to utilize. George Pickens is one of the best downfield threats in football today, and then they're going to probably be adding a wide receiver or 2 to this roster before the start of next season. All right, so there's going to be weapons to utilize, a great run game, a great defense, and it's all put together by a great head coach. So what the Steelers need is Russell Wilson, who has been to a Super Bowl, has been to 2, nearly won both, to be able to be that hardy veteran that's been in the big moment before to really deliver in those big moments. Right now, he's tied for 9th all-time in fourth quarter comebacks with 31, and he's 10th all-time in game-winning drives with 39. He's done both of these things in the playoffs before as well. He has been under those bright lights. He has won a ring, all these different things, and he did it again in Seattle with a great run game, with a great defense, with a great head coach. This is an environment that Russell Wilson can thrive in my opinion. And it really is plain and simple to me. All right, if Russell Wilson plays well and the Steelers stay healthy, which is very possible, all right, especially the Russell Wilson part. I think he's a great fit for Arthur Smith's offense. He's going to have the support system around him. There's no reason why a 35-year-old Russell Wilson, who is still in peak physical condition with a great deep ball, can't get the job done this year. And I am super excited to see Russell Wilson prove the doubters wrong this year in the Steel City behind a great defense, behind a great run game with great weapons around him, and for him to ball out, because nobody works harder than Russell Wilson. I think he deserves this opportunity. I think he's going to take it and run with it, and I can't wait to see him do his thing. But make no mistake, guys, if Russell Wilson doesn't show up in 2024, you can kiss a Super Bowl goodbye when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, what say you guys down there in the comments section? Can the Pittsburgh Steelers win a Super Bowl this year with Russell Wilson as their starting quarterback? Give me a yes or no down there in the comments section to let me know what you're thinking. For more content from me on social media, I post to my X and Instagram accounts every single day, giving you guys an additional splash of Steelers and NFL draft content every single day. So if you want to check me out on X, I'm at Jack_Sperry and at SpareDog.football on Instagram. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. A big shout out to Jason Dimitrovich. I keep butchering that name, Jason. I'm so sorry about that, but I appreciate your support. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now if you haven't already. And until next time, here we go, Steelers. All right, Mr. Sam Brown. Fourth segment done. We're going to put a little bit of a shot clock on. We're going to go 5 minutes. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Sam. You are a big fan of the tortilla slap. Am I correct?
Big fan makes me sound like kind of aggressive. I am the best tortilla slapper within a 2-mile radius, we'll say, of this building. Jeremy's right outside. He knows too. Who slaps that tortilla the best, Jeremy? He's coming in.
Jeremy Chugs.
I would say.
Don't.
I would say Sam slaps a pretty good tortilla, but not in the face.
What?
All right.
Really
So
went for broke.
we'll do a quick. We're gonna do a quick promotion here. Every $20 super chat that we get, I get to slap Sam.
What?
All right.
Who made this rule?
But every $10 super chat,
Yes.
Sam gets to slap me.
Ooh.
All right, so let's see who wants who to get slapped. $20
This is a
super
fun
chats,
game.
and I'll slap Sam with a tortilla. $10 super chat, so half the price, Sam will slap me. All right, so let's put on a 5-minute shot clock.
You do it on your phone? You want me to?
Do it on screen, yeah, so they can see it. 5 minutes, folks. $20, I slap Sam with tortillas. $10, Sam slaps me. Somebody send in a 20, man. I want to slap this Broncos fan so
Tens
hard.
only. Tens only.
No. So the shot clock's going. I know Marilyn Krieger's down there. I know Anthony Fuller's down there. I mean, come on now, folks.
It's bound to come. In the meantime, yes, I think the Steelers can win a Super Bowl this year. If that very last part, and if anything, that's
Russ
the point you
needs to
made.
show up.
If
It was the same thing last year. I did the same thing. I said the X factor for the Pittsburgh Steelers was going to be Matt Canada and Russell Wilson, or in Kenny Pickett, and neither of them showed up. This year, it's Arthur Smith and Russell Wilson. They both need to show up. If they both do, I think the Steelers are going to have a shot at the Super Bowl. Hey, we got a $20 Super Chats and slap that donk fan. I love it, Pittsburgh fan 412.
I do want to point out
F
that
Sam, F 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 Sam. Hey!
I do want to point out that as a reward for stepping in on an hour or two's notice, I get to get slapped in the face.
Somebody send in
Not
a
exactly what I anticipated.
Somebody send in a 10 so that Sam can slap somebody today. But also somebody send in another 20 so I get to slap him more than he gets
Do we
to
have
slap me.
tortillas here? Do I need to go get them?
So yeah, they're in the kitchen. They're in like the little drawer. You know what I'm talking about? So it's like you walk in and it's like all the way to the left. You know the big drawer. No, like under the microwave. Yeah. Or above, somewhere near the microwave. Oh my goodness, man. Shout out to Pittsburgh fan 412. We're getting this slap going. By the way, still 3 minutes left on the clock, and Marilyn Krieger comes in with a $10 super chat. So Sam's going to be happy to hear that, Marilyn. Appreciate your support. Black Diamond member here with a $10 super chat. Sam's out of the room, Marilyn, so I can't show your super chat, but appreciate you, Marilyn. Everyone give it up for Marilyn and Pittsburgh fan. We still got 2.5 minutes here. Somebody send in a 20 so I get to slap Sam more than he gets to slap me. All right, come on. Somebody send in that 20 so I can slap Sam really hard. All right, plus we'll get over $100 in super chats today. Who's going to be the person that sends in that second 20? Come on. Come on. We can't have it be even, guys. We can't have it be 1 versus 1. I mean, I'm okay with getting slapped once, but only if I get to slap him twice. Come on now. I see Pittsburgh fan down there. I saw Fernando in there earlier. He usually likes to wait till the last minute. I see Anthony Fuller down there. Oh, Pittsburgh fan 412 does it again. And he says, gotta be more slaps for the Donks fan. Guys, let's keep the 20s rolling here, man. Every 20, we're slapping the Broncos fan here on the show. Come on now. I see Anthony Fuller down there. I see Hot Rod down there. I still see Maryland down there. Maryland, if you're gonna send in a 10 for him to slap me, you gotta send in a 20 so I get to slap him. It's only fair, Maryland. Come on now. It's only fair. I see David Bowers down there, Jerry Davis, user, Mike Van Asdale. I hope I'm saying that right. Ian, K9 Ty, Trey Smith, Jonathan Goshorn's still here. What's up, man? Come on now. I need to slap Sam. So right now the count with a minute left to go. I got 2 slaps on Sam. He has 1 on me. Hey! Oh no! Elliptic 6, what are you telling me? Elliptic 6 sent in a 30 and he said slap Jack 3 times? What? I see Lord Buddy. Oh, Maryland Krieger with a 20. That's another one to the tally for Sam.
This is such bullshit.
Okay, so let's roll through them here. Maryland Krieger with a 10. Sam just got back. Did you find the tortillas?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so Maryland brought in the first one for Sam here with a 10. Then Pittsburgh fan 412 with a 20, another one. So that's 2 slaps to 1. Then Elliptic 6 comes in with 3 Jack slaps. So 4-2.
Let's go. I love that.
And
I love that.
And Maryland Krieger sends in a 20.
Shot clock is up.
So it's 4-3.
Maryland sent 1 on each side. She just wants to see both of us get slapped.
So I'm getting slapped 4 times.
Let's go.
And God damn it.
You did not love how this backfired on you, did you?
I mean, it started out so well. And then all of a sudden, Elliptic 6 comes in.
All right, there you go. Rochelle King, 4-4.
All right, there we go. Rochelle King comes in with a 20.
You can go to sleep tonight.
It's 4-4. It's fair. It's fair now, okay? All right, let's get these slaps going here. 4-4. Can't wait, baby. Let's go.
Again, for the record, when I was asked to fill in on this 2 hours ago, I was not told I would get slapped in the face 4 times, or at all.
Big shout out to Sam for being a good sport here.
How do you want to do this? Back and forth?
Yeah, let's go back and forth. Let's go back and forth. This is going to get spicy.
Bows down first.
Okay.
This is our BMF title right here.
All right, I'm going to change this here. All right.
You want me to go first? You got it. First honors.
First honors, please.
Oh,
Actually, no. You're the guest on my show. You get the honors.
I kind of like going off that.
All right. Do you want this out of the way, like entirely?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh fuck! Oh God, that actually hurt.
I'll hold back.
Damn it! He didn't even move!
Did you backhand that one?
Yeah, I did backhand it. Okay. Oh! Oh my God!
I can hear it in that studio. I went backhand on that one. I thought I'd have a little less power.
Oh! I got him right on the neck! Oh my God!
2 more.
Oh!
2 more.
2 more apiece.
Oh, what? Should I go for the uppercut? Oh, I did the best.
An uppercut. He tried going uppercut.
Oh, now I'm just
Dude, he's just missing now. That counts.
I feel bad. I hit the
Sorry.
twice.
All right. Maybe I need to go like full bore like this. Oh. Oh my God. I mean, these are the good tortillas, by the way. These are the ones that don't break, and I broke the shit out of this. All right. Last one. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh! Oh, right.
Not my best work.
Right in the eye. I mean, it didn't get a lot of me, but it got me, like, right in the eye. So, all right, I need to...
Oh, you got one more?
I'm getting a fresh one here, man. You know what? We are double wrapping this one, ladies and gentlemen. This is the haymaker right here. Just go ask good old Chip how this felt last week on Commanders. All right. Pittsburgh fan, if you want to send in more for more slaps, go right ahead. 412, go right ahead.
Some of us have work to do after this, but
Oh damn! I got him good, folks. I got him good. Let's go. David Bauer says, please bring back Coop for a slap. I would love to. He's busy. All right, man. That was a lot of fun. So unless Pittsburgh fan 412 puts in another one before we go here, that's going to be it for the slaps today.
that was fun.
When was the last time you slapped somebody with a... Oh! No way! This one's coming in from Pittsburgh Fan Bang! Oh! 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 Let's go! Everybody spam 412 in the chat. 412, 412, 412, 412. Let's go! 5 more slaps coming your way, Sam Brown. Yes! Yes! All right, we're gonna stop the count though. All right, 10 slaps when you weren't even expected to get slapped once, like 2 hours ago, is unbelievable. All right, here we go. First one.
Not gonna hurt worth shit again.
Oh yeah, the slow.
I'm trying to level up.
Yeah, okay, I got
In
you.
the spirit of competition. Let me, yeah.
A little bit of a. Oh, you know, I could tell you felt that one a little.
Annoying at this point. 6 times already.
Oh, this is the highlight of my week, dude. All right, let's go this way. There we go. Right on the chin. We're almost out. This is the last one of the pack. We got 3 more to go. God damn it, it broke again. Oh, shit. No, I didn't have the right leverage. 2 more. God, these are breaking. Cassie, did you get the wrong tortillas? These are breaking. All right, last one. We got to double wrap the last one. We got to double wrap the last one, folks. All right, this one is for 412. Oh, that was a big one. He can play it off all he wants. I know it hurt. I know that hurt. Oh, my goodness. Okay, man. That's going to be it. That was so much fun. I needed that this week, man. I really did. It's been crazy. Sam and I have been putting on a ton of work for, especially Sam, has been really putting in the hours for our NFL draft coverage this year here at Chat Sports. Needed to lay
Yeah,
out.
what an intermission this was.
Oh, my goodness, man. That was a lot of fun. Shout out to 412 for that $100 super chat there for 5 more slaps right at the end. You guys are the best, man. I appreciate the hell out of you. And then let's just get in this $2 super chat real quick. Hot Rod 24, $2 super chat. Hot Rod 24 says, shout out to Sam for filling in. Everybody spam Sam in the chat for me real quick, man.
Thank you.
Let's show some love to Sam.
Appreciate you guys. I'll tell you one thing. Coop is sitting in the room right next to us, actually, funny enough, thanking his lucky stars that he got someone to fill in for the last segment, he didn't get slapped 9 times in the face.
Coop was telling me earlier.
9 times.
9 times. Coop was telling me earlier, Sperry, I don't want to get slapped today. So I think he might have actually, like, maneuvered his way.
That's weird. I just talked to him in the other room. He said, wow, I'm so glad I didn't get slapped in the face.
Oh, man. Okay. That's going to be it, man. Shout out to Hot Rod. Shout out to Pittsburgh Fan 412. Shout out to Rochelle. Shout out to everybody that super chatted today. You guys are the best. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. And until then, here we go, Steelers.